name is Kyle. I am the director and biologist at the Marine Education Center for the village of Mamaroneck. Today we're going to be talking about horseshoe crabs. The horseshoe crab is another awesome animal that lives in the Long Island Sound, one of my favorites. And again, for those of you that just joined, April 25th, my opening day, is officially canceled until further notice. I will be getting a new date soon, hopefully, and we'll get that. I'll be doing these every Tuesday and Friday now at 10:30, so I'll let you guys know once I know when the new opening day will be. And again, for all you guys out there who just joined, if I ask a question, the comments are coming in pretty slow, so if I ask a question, I'll wait like five seconds. Just ask your kids at home and then I'll give the answer. Okay, so again, today we're talking about horseshoe crabs, one of my favorite animals. I'm going to show you a horseshoe crab really quick, a live one, and then we're going to have a little lesson about him. So this is my horseshoe crab. I call him Buddy. A lot of you out there have met him. So Buddy is again a native to the Long Island Sound, and all the way down. They're all around, but they're big around here as well as Maryland. You'll see a lot of them. So horseshoe crabs are called a living fossil. Does anyone know what a fossil is? I think some of my kids that like dinosaurs might know what a fossil is. So ask at home. So a fossil is an old animal, usually of a dinosaur. So these are actually older than dinosaurs. They're over 450 million years old. They have been around since before the dinosaurs. I'm going to flip them over before I put them back in the water. So they kind of look scary, right? So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is this. So what is that? Does anyone know? So that is their tail, and their tail is very important. Does anyone know what their tail does? I'm going to wait a second for that answer because I love to hear the answers. What do you think that tail does? So they are coming in really slow. So the tail, a lot of people think stings because it kind of looks like a stingray, and it's very pointy. It actually does not sting. They use it, as you can see, he's using it. He likes to, when he gets flipped like this, the tail helps them flip back over. And it helps them move. Not for defense, that's my favorite answer though. It helps them flip over when they get stuck on the beach. So one thing that horseshoe crabs do is they come up on the beach to lay their eggs. So if a wave catches them, a lot of you guys like to play in the ocean. If a wave catches them, you guys can just get up. Their tail helps them get up. So their tail, if they get swung around by a wave, their tail helps them get up. I'm going to put them back in the water for a second. So another thing that their tail is, this is my old one. So another thing a tail is kind of like an eye, and I want to ask this question first. How many eyes do you think a horseshoe crab has? Let's look really closely. So we know it has one already, right? Its tail is kind of like an eye. So can any of you guys see out there? So these are eyes. These are their compound eyes, so kind of like our eyes. But they also have they also have, so they have these two. They have 5 all around the top here, and they have 2 by their mouth. So they have, all together, if you guys were counting, we have 1, 2, right? 2 big eyes, 5 little eyes, so that's 7. 2 by their mouth, so that's 9, and then their tail. So they have 10 eyes. Most of these eyes don't see like our eyes do. They can't see images. Their big eyes can kind of see just the same as us. Not really, but those come close. So they have 10 eyes, so that tail is also an eye. So one thing I like to tell people while I'm talking about horseshoe crabs is, what do you think we never want to do to a horseshoe crab's tail? Because it's very, very important to them. And I see a lot of people doing it on the beach. So this, again, this is my old one. You never want to go like this to a horseshoe crab's tail. You never want to touch a horseshoe crab's tail because it's very important to them. If they don't have a tail, they can't flip themselves back over on the beach. They can't see partially, and they can't move themselves about in the water. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, and this guy's really old, so I'm going to take out my big horseshoe crab again, is how you can tell they're a girl versus if they're a boy. So, like I said before, they come up onto the beach, right? They come up to mate and they come up to lay their eggs. So the boys and the girls, when they're next to each other, you're going to see, you can only really see this if they were next to each other, but the boy is much smaller than the girl. The girl does something I'm going to talk to you about right after this that makes them bigger. But the big thing to tell, and again, you never want to pick up a horseshoe crab. You only can see this when you're with a professional like myself. You never want to pick these up on the beach. You're not allowed to. So kids out there, just look when you see them, but you never want to pick them up like I'm doing here. I have special papers to do this, just so you guys know. So let me see if I can get it. I don't know if I can. Let's see. I want to put them back in the water. Do you see these 2 front claws there? See those right there? So those kind of look like a boxing glove, right? Like you punch with, like a hook. So that's how you know that's a boy. This is my boy. The girl just has a normal claw. So like I said before, girls are much bigger than the boys. They do something called molting. That's a big word, so you guys say it at home with me, molting. So if you live by a beach or been by a beach that horseshoe crabs like to venture to, you'd find a lot of these all over the beach. A lot of people think that they're dead horseshoe crabs. They're actually not. They do something called molting, like I just said. Do something called molting. So molting is kind of like you guys changing your pants when you grow bigger, right? You have to get new clothes because you're growing bigger. So what horseshoe crabs do is they molt and grow into a bigger crab. So you'd see these on the beach, and when you see them, they're not dead. You're going to know that they molted by this front part here. So the front part is open because they slide out the front, and that's how they molt. So horseshoe crabs molt until they're about 9, 10 years old, and female girl horseshoe crabs molt about 2-3 times more than the boy. That's why they're bigger. And that brings me on to why. So there's something really cool about horseshoe crabs that a lot of people don't know. They're called crabs, right? Does anyone know this fun fact about horseshoe crabs? Some of you that have been down here. So horseshoe crabs actually aren't really crabs. they're more of a spider or a scorpion. That's who they're. Does anyone have cousins out there? We all have cousins probably. So their kind of closest cousin is a scorpion or a spider. So crabs, I'm going to take out one of my crabs. So this is one of my favorite crabs that we'll talk about another day. So, does anyone know what kind of crab this is? I'm not sure if I'm getting comments, but I'll tell you after 5 seconds. So, this is a spider crab. They're not related to a spider. This is an actual crab. They just have the name because they look like a spider. So, out there, how many claws and legs does a spider have, or spider crab have? Let's see everybody count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He lost one. He lost one of his arms, his legs. So they have 10. Let's see. So my horseshoe crab, if you can count really closely, have you guys count at home, is my molt. So a horseshoe crab has 12 claws and legs. So that's a big thing, but the difference. Another thing, like we were just talking about with the molting, so crabs actually molt going backwards, where like we said before, horseshoe crabs molt going through the front. So that's a big difference between them. There's also something up front here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but next time you're here, I'll show you. But they have these little things up front, like bugs have, called antennae. Horseshoe crabs don't have those. So my last thing I want to talk to you about, and this is a really cool fun fact, is about their blood. So who here that's joined us has gotten medicine or gotten a shot? So probably all of us have taken some kind of medicine or gotten a shot, a flu shot. So their blood, the blood of a horseshoe crab, is actually really cool. Their blood is used to help see if any of those vaccines or medicine has any type of diseases in them. So it's kind of like, I like to describe it as their blood does something like a butterfly cocoon does. Has everybody seen a butterfly cocoon? So the cocoon goes around the caterpillar, right? So let's just say the caterpillar is the dirt or the bad stuff. So what their blood does is we drop a little on our medicine and it kind of cocoons around that dirt or bad stuff, so we know that it's bad. So that's really cool. So we need their blood to help us take medicine. If we didn't have their blood, a lot of that medicine would be bad. We wouldn't be able to take it. So I just want to go over some more things before I go. And if you guys have any questions after this, my email is on Facebook. You could also Instagram message me or Facebook message me if you had any questions. So I want you guys at home, how do you tell if it's a male or girl or a boy? Let's see if I could get some comments. I'm not sure where they all are, but. So you remember, the girl has normal claws, normal front claws. This one's not a good, this one if you see. Let's see, you see her normal little claws, where the boy has a hook or a boxing glove. And another thing, what do we never do with the tail? Never touch the tail, right? Never want to hold the tail or touch him. This would very much hurt the horseshoe crab. And my last question, how many eyes does a horseshoe crab have? So a horseshoe crab has 10 eyes. 10 eyes. So remember, all these animals I talk about live in the Long Island Sound, and when we open, hopefully in May, you could come down and see all these animals in the tanks. You could touch some of the animals, like, do we remember what this one is? A sea star, right? So you could come down and touch those. And remember, you never want to touch wild animals. Only if you're with somebody like me who gets to show them to you. So they're very important to the water out here. So on Friday, when we come back to you at 10:30, we're gonna do a plankton lesson. And then next week, I'm very excited, next Tuesday, we're gonna do a little mussel dissection, doing a little virtual musseling. I know some of you have come down to do the program with me and do some musseling. So we're gonna do a little virtual musseling, get a little dirty, and I'll show you the inside of a mussel. All right, if anybody has any questions, again, you could Facebook me, like us on Facebook and Instagram.